Hey everybody, WindDrakeHex here doing a live draft commentary on HEX TCG MMO. Trying to focus on helping new players, so we'll explain a little bit about archetypes, pick orders, power rankings, signals, things like that. Um, Pick one, pack one. I'm mainly thinking about what is the most powerful card. We have no idea what's coming or going in this draft, so we're basically just looking to kind of start. Some considerations. A rare is a Replica Reinforcements, which is a very underplayed card by and large. I think it's just for its cost. It doesn't do enough. I'm sure that the best case scenario is you copy something big and then you get to play it multiple times, or you have a bunch of Venom or a bunch of uh, you know some troop type. You're playing a very thematic deck, but it just doesn't quite get there. This card's very good if you're playing a 5 drops matters deck. Not quite a pick one pack one because it's a support card for an archetype. 5 drop matters ramp. So it's not slam dunk right away. Probably best card in a vacuum would be Flamehand Invoker. It's a threat in and of itself, and it can make something a very huge threat. So I really like this card a lot. Vampire Kiss is pretty good too. Hatchery Breed Guard's okay, and some spider stuff. Here, well, we got a very good follow up pick in their shard. If we wanted to go stay in Ruby, which I believe we do, Sandstone Rumbler is a 5/2 for 5. Isn't great, but it gets the +1/+1 when you use a socketable major ability. Big deal that it says major there. Typically, you want to give it the unblockable major ability or that does damage when it enters in play. I like to give it the first game one because I don't know who I'm playing with. Chances are I'm going against another Ruby deck, so it won't get unblockable. It's only unblockable if you're unless you're an artifact of the same uh, troop or same shard. So I'll give it that, and then game two, if I can get away with the unblockable, I'll pick it. Mindpyre is worth like $1. Not really that great in construct or in draft. Definitely a good constructed card in the Sun Soul Phoenix deck. I play with this card all the time. I love it. It's a Swift draft, so you should probably take the card that's worth half a pack, but it's really late. I just kind of want to win or have fun. I'm not as concerned about rare drafting. So very good pick one and pick two for Ruby. Now, Ruby Wild is definitely a strong archetype, and picking a Grove Whisperer here, it's definitely a first pickable card. It's either like typically 4/6, because you give it the +1/+1, or you can give it unblockable again if the matchup makes it so that it can be unblockable. It's a great card. Um, I'm not entirely sure that I'm gonna go ramp in this draft, so I'll probably just pick another Flameham Invoker, which is a super strong card. Um, Better cards overall. I think I have more after hundreds of drafts. I think I have better results with Grave Whisperer over Invoker. Though Invoker is very strong. Just mainly because this card's more versatile because it can block and sometimes it's an unblockable threat and all that kind of stuff. And Invoker is really fragile. But that being said, we don't necessarily have to be in Wild right now. I have no problem taking another Invoker. Also noting the ramp down there and the lift lyricist. It's probably gonna end up going ramp. Those are some pretty strong signals. Like right here, um, there's no natural Ruby cards, and I see some good Sapphire. This card would be great to throw on, Sandstone, or give a flying, fire breathing thing, turn like my Invoker into like a dragon. That'd be pretty sweet. Throwback's a great tempo card. But they're really good in aggressive decks too. It's just that Sapphire doesn't really make aggressive decks, unfortunately. It's just a good tempo plus card. It nerfs your opponent's stuff, so it could help you on a race, all that good stuff. Time, tempo, awesome card. But we're gonna go Lyricist here. It's the second one we've seen. Pick four. It's a pretty strong signal. We're probably gonna end up in ramp. But who knows? Things change. Here we don't really have a clear card. Now we could end up going Ruby Diamond Aggro, in which case Bright Moon Brave's good, and that's a cheap troop, makes something bigger, and it helps you activate Bryson champion ability, and that it will give you more troops than your opponent most likely if you're playing 1 drops. when you need it on turn 4 or 5, I think. So anyway, that's a good consideration. This is kind of a sideboard card I never play. It's just like really slow, clunky conditional removal, effectively, that your opponent can play around. This card's okay as a resource dump late game. It's nice to have that out of a 1 drop. It just doesn't. It just asks you too much during your development phase. It just ends up being a 1/1, or you're taking a whole turn off to pump it. That's why I don't really like it. Should probably pick it because I'm way more likely to be ramped than I am to be what's it called? Um, just straight up aggro. Though here's a really good card in that archetype. I may pick it up here because I'm not seeing anything else. Vampire Kiss is pretty late too. This is a very solid top end 5 drop, and that it has Crush. It helps you finish games. Um, hmm. Also, can go Elf theme. This is speculative. Oh, well, anyway, I collected it once and it picked it for me. So I'll probably end up getting the Ember Leaf, as many as I want down the line. Like, here's another one. Also, the Emberleaf Duelist is a pretty solid card to use if we're curving out. It's more of an aggro card, whereas we're probably going to be more favoring 5 drops if we're going to be in ramp. So, Emberleaf War Dancer, like we said, we want to pick it last turn. It's also fine as a top end if we go Diamond, Ruby, aggro. And the wild kind of dried up a little bit, so I don't know. We have very like the makings of a very aggressive deck. This can come in with a damage gem, finish the game. This can do a bunch of damage, especially if we get like a Death Mask, Assailant. Just get this unblockable fire breathing thing, do a bunch of damage, finish the game with this. Maybe get some skewers. Pretty solid plan. This would be good in a Bryson strategy, maybe. Shifting that haste over to like your 5 drop is pretty relevant too. To finish a game. So it's not really a dead card. More of a constructed aggro card, though, to be honest. We'll take another Ember Leaf. Let's get all the leaves. So things are really drying up. If we do end up going ramp, we'll probably want this as a sideboard card against like Sack or something that's like augmenting troops and making them all big and stuff. Also, First Blood's kind of a fringe card. It's good if you're like hyper aggro and you have that like O2 that gets bigger with things that attack. And then you have Bryson, you give that Swift Strike, and you're just swinging for like 10 on turn 4, and your opponent's mad. That's always a fun strategy, but kind of thinking ahead, thinking Emberleaf may find its home at some point. Again, if we're going to go aggro, which Sapphire isn't, or Diamond isn't open, so I'm not really even wanting to speculate in Diamond. And it doesn't look like Wild is crazy open either. So yeah, there's a lot of tension at this table right now, so things are going to have to give at some point. But we got some pretty good cards pack 1. I guess we'll just take a 2-drop playable. If we're going to speculate, if I had to think what's more open, I would probably think Wild. Here are some very late good cards in Shadowblade Assassin, Cripple, even this Trick is pretty good. But we know we're Ruby and Boomsmith solid cards, so we'll take that. It's removal and a troop. You pay 2 for the removal. It's conditional, mind you, but again, we're seeing lots of tricks. Maybe Diamond opens up. Sapphire is definitely open. It's just not a very good pairing with Ruby, so I'm not even convinced that we're ramp at this point. So what's a card I would really like to have access to as a sideboard option? Probably be Stinging Ambush. I want some Death Mask, but let's pick up a Swordplay in case we get like some Death Mask or whatever. Might play this card, probably won't. It's just too slow and clunky for my taste, but definitely people have used it against me to great effect. So we're kind of going to hopefully decide what our second color is next. Hack? I'll pick a Shard Call. It has more utility than the other troop. I'm going to get it anyway. Some people like this card. I think that it acts as removal. It's really, I don't know, very conditional. Double resource on turn 3 for not a very powerful effect. Not really what I want to be doing. This looks just like our last pack. I guess we'll take another Invoker. 3 Invokers. Pretty great. We're going to want things that can fly. We're going to want some evasion to really make this card good. But, it's a threat in and of itself. It trades up. If it doesn't get blocked, you can dump all your resource into it. Just make your opponent deal with it. Oftentimes they can't. It's just a great card. So yeah, I have no problem running 3. I have no problem running 6, to be quite honest. So at least that we can kind of stay in Ruby. We didn't see any removal, so like no skewers, no fiery indignations. So maybe Ruby is, I don't know, less open than it looks. But I mean, it can't. Sapphire can't be the only thing that's open. Something has to give. Basically, is what happens. If some people try to stay open, if the whole table tries to stay open, you get some really weird signals. But eventually, we're gonna have to decide. So I'll just keep taking Ruby cards until the tension resolves, and I can tell whether or not I'm in Wild or Diamond. Okay, so someone took the rare. This would be fine if I'm more aggro. I tend to would rather just run skewers, to be quite honest. It's more flexible because the 2-1 you leave behind is kind of worthless in most decks. Regardless, though, I want skewers and I want staggering blast. Both those cards can just kind of win you the game if you just have a curve, So now we're starting to see strong reasons to move into either ramp or aggro. And that Spirit Eagle is exactly what you want to be doing in an aggressive deck. It plays really great with our invokers. And just an evasive thing that you can dump resources into and do a bunch of damage. We also already have 2 pretty decent diamond cards. Well, we have a good diamond sapphire or diamond sideboard card. With a Deadeye Slicer, which is going to be very strong in this deck. Paired with my Ruby. And then, it's still, I can't tell which one's open more. If I had to guess, I'd probably say diamond. We have to pick. I'm going to go with Spirit Eagle. It's a tough pick. Oh, Skewer or Sandstone? Skewer is probably better ultimately, but having these rumblers is just really strong. I'll see less rumblers than I will see skewers. Sometimes I end up picking the uncommon here for that exact reason. Though skewer is just like the perfect Ruby card. You're often that extra 3 points of damage is often relevant, and yeah, tough pick. I've been picking Sandstone here. It's not a bomb, so if you're going to use the bread analogy, you'd pick removal over bombs, but it is just such an incredible top end threat, and it's versatile that it's hard. Oh my god! So we're just getting all the Ruby cards. All right, 4th Invoker or Fire Indignation. We are going to be playing some 5-drops, so Fire Indignation goes up in value. I love seeing the Spirit Eagle here. I'm going to pass it this time only because we need to bolster our removal. But getting these cards this late, we may not have a problem getting removal. So 5-drop matters. Or aggro. Probably going to be aggro. I saw that late Spirit Eagle. I mean, this is a late Rotwood. The thing is, like with 17 card packs, things look very good. Also, an Ashwood Soloist might be okay. We're going to go Bryson aggro. I really like to go Urgnok aggro, but that requires a pretty strong deck to justify the how vulnerable you are to having started out with 17 health. I don't know. Speculate. Um, Probably not going to play more than two Emberly 4 dancers. I want to keep my curve kind of low. 5 drops is getting a little high in an aggressive deck. Really want Staggering Blast right now. I guess we'll just pick kind of like maybe we still might end up in Wild. We'll see what wheels out of this pack. We're in a good position though to really just like solidify our second color pack two, or pack three rather, because we've been able to pick up enough good Ruby stuff. 3 Invokers, 2 Sand Steps, Boom Smith, Skewer, Fire Resignation. Pretty solid. Should probably go aggro. If I would have had 2 Spirit Eagles, probably be pretty happy. But look at that. Pick, I don't know, 9, something like that. Skewer. They were just mono Ruby. I doubt it, but that would be fun. I think we're gonna go aggro here. Uh, Diamond Ruby aggro is super strong. Um, Especially because a lot of the top end decks in set 3 are kind of slow. So just being able to put the pressure on early and just having a deck that's good enough that it never has to put on the brakes. Because you keep, you're getting a little reach with Skewer, playing a 5-drop, you're killing something big. You're doing crush damage, whatever. Like, just keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking. Staggering Blast, key card in that. So we really want a Staggering Blast. But, um, you know, you basically want to construct a deck that allows you to attack every single turn. So maybe Deadeye Ripper makes it. Maybe 1-drops are good enough. Yeah, I really want another Spirit Eagle. But truth be told, I just want removal and Staggering Blast. All you really need is a curve and a bunch of aggressive cards. So what do we do here? Shard Call, I don't think it's going to make the cut. In a sideboard match, Mecha Fill Cape's fine. There's a reason to be in ramp, though we only have 1 ramp card, and we didn't see a lot of ramp being passed. That's not the end of the world if we end up ramp. Though I like Deadeye Slicer and Spirit Eagle like far more than the sum of all of our wild cards. I think the archetype is generally good if you have the right kind of cards, which are like Skewer and Flameham Invoker. You need Death Mask, Sand Steps, great. This guy's a little meh. Do that or hate draft a Windbourne. Who knows? Maybe we go mono. I don't really like hate drafting cards. I think it's kind of wasteful. We already have Shard Call. It's actually pretty good in ramp too. Being able to get that extra resource when you sack it. We'll take another Fairy Seeker. I doubt we play 1. Just in case we go up against Sin or something. We'll take a Vandalize. Yeah, we got some cards. We're going to start organizing a little bit. Abominate's probably better against this than this guy. But I think that guy's a better card. Abominate's very specific. Like, if you're not playing it in sack, you're not setting it up to gain advantage. It's kind of like you're setting yourself up for pretty, like a 3-for-1, you know? Not a good thing. Grant's Gift, would love to play it. I really wanted a strong Ruby card here. I don't think. Could we splash Grants? We could splash Grants. Is that better than probably playing a Grove Whisperer? We don't know that we're playing a Grove Whisperer. There'd be ramp. There's not a whole lot of ramp. Then our plan would probably be like shifting Fire Breathing onto something unblockable, whether it's a Sand Step or a. You know what? I think, because I don't really know. Also, Wolveir would be good if we're going to be in aggro. I'm just going to take the Grunt and maybe splash it. We have a Shard Call. It's pretty much good in any deck. I think it's good enough to splash. Holy crap. Holy Ascension. I don't know how much it's worth. I kind of want to pick it. I think I'm going to look it up real quick. Let's do Hex Primal. How much time do we have? A minute? See if I can get this in time. Should just have this on the other screen, but the way I set up my vid, I have to kind of do this. So, Holy Ascension. Ooh. Going for 245. So, okay. Well, I'd love a Death Mask. I'd love a lot of cards in here, but when it's worth that much money, it's kind of silly to pass. What do we have here? We have some really good Ruby cards. So now we should probably make a decision on whether or not we're ramp or aggro. Probably going to be pretty happy with either one. For ramp, I really want to play Sky Dancer. For aggro, I really want to play Deadeye. I really just wanted more Ruby cards. Also, Neophyte would be decent getting back 3 drops. If we don't, I can get back Slicers, revert them, users, trade them off, then bring them back, revert them, or more flame hands. It'd actually be pretty darn good. This card's very powerful. We went like Might Singer. Could easily go Might Singer. Prize Fall is really good too. This is not an easy pick for me. As far as like unique effects, Sky Dancer probably wins. Alright, well, this is making me really want to go aggro. Yep, Pyresoul. So I think we're gonna not do ramp. We're gonna go for the aggro. Pyresoul pretty much cinched it for me. Oh, and then another Sand Step. Okay. Disciple. Cool card. I don't think it's worth anything. I'm not even gonna look it up. Sandstone Yar. Getting past the $3 card. It's kind of nice. Alright. So we be aggro. The reason why I was so excited to jump into aggro for Pyrosoul is that it's a 2/2 for 2, which is fine, but being able to just make a bunch of phantoms at will or spirits is just crazy. Crazy good. Crazy card advantage. Typically at that stage of the game, especially in an aggro deck, you're pretty close to finishing your opponent anyway. It's pretty easy just to sneak in some damage. Trying to think. Sand Steps are great. Imagine putting Swift Strike on this guy, or Swift Strike on this guy. I mean, I love having evasive threats, but yeah, I think Slicer. Yeah, just playing Slicers and Invokers and Sand Steps. Might even be able to sneak in some Emberleafs. Our curve's not super tight, but it's not slow. Maybe we splash Grant's Gift as a secondary win con in case we can't just beat our opponent. No Staggering Blast, which is a little interesting. We did get 2 Skewers. Yeah, this deck's looking pretty good. I don't know if I want to play these Emberleafs. Probably do because I have Crush. Main reason. And with 3 Deadeye Slicers, we're going to be able to make some pretty potent threats. 2 Skewers, very nice. Ooh, look at that. 2 Eagles. Feeling it. So yeah, digging this. Nothing really here. Some people like metal. It's good if you could throw it like on a Spirit Bound Spy or something, but it's kind of a waste of a card otherwise. IMO, in my opinion. We got that Newblin Skirmisher, so I'm not going to play anything in here. I'm going to play this in case our opponent is a sideboard card against Staggering Blast, which we haven't seen one of. Bruto. I do want to Splash Grunts. It's a late game card. It doesn't have to be played on curve or anything. I'm probably just going to hate here. Theorize, yeah, for something giant we just can't deal with. Probably better than hate drafting Profane Ritualist. Okay. Trick would be okay too. And then we want to keep attacking. So we got a little bit of interaction with our opponent's board state with Spirit Eagle. We just want to keep attacking. Keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking. It's the name of the game. Emberleaf does that. We already have 1 shard call for our Grunts. we are a little demanding in our early game on our resources. And Ruby, having double Ruby and double diamonds. I don't know if we really should be splashing. Maybe Grunt's Gift is good enough. Maybe I just play 22 playables and a shard call and then go 7-8 or 9-8 and just have one Grunt, one blood. I don't know if that's good. I don't know. Those are playable. So do we go Bryson or do we go Urgnok? We didn't get any death mass. We saw one, but we took a $2.40 card over it. Still pretty happy with that decision. Resource optimization bot? Yeah, we could play it. Or Grunts. I don't know if Grunts is really that good. Justify making an aggro deck stumble more on resources. I'm not sure. I might play 2 in a sideboardy game. Add to my Scrapyard Dynamo collection. Okay. I'm not playing Vandalize. I only have 20 cards. What is this deck trying to do? I'm gonna do all damage game 1, mainly because we don't know who we're gonna if we're playing another Ruby deck. It's just a 5/3 for 5, which isn't great. So hopefully we get our opponent down low, and then this finishes the game. Kind of the idea. And then if our opponent isn't playing Ruby, then we can switch it over to the unblockable form. Good removal, good evasion, and disruption. Skewer gives us reach. I mean, the deck's quite strong. So we have 2 sources. So what? We throw a Shard Call in here and an Ember Leaf, and then say go. Can't play the legendary. Yeah, we don't have any health gain. Never seen anybody cast it in draft. So what do you think? Shard Call. It's kind of giving up 2 slots though, which I don't really like. But we don't have anything super amazing. We want to try to force into our deck. Like Deadeye Ripper's okay. I don't even really want to go Bryson. I may just go Ovo. We have enough access to Swift Strike, and we're not playing a ton of 1-drops. Though we do have ways to gain troop advantage later. I just don't think it's necessarily should be a focus. What did I just throw in here? An Ember Leaf. Did we play 2 Ember Leaves? It's a lot of 5-drops. Maybe. Let's see. We'll do the removal for the sideboard. Alright, we'll play a Shard Call. We have two sources of blood without having to go change our 9-8 preferred ratio for our 2 shards that have a lot of double. Pretty much like if you have a shard that has a double threshold requirement, like you can't play less than 8 with that that shard type. So you probably want to go like 9-8 split, favoring Ruby right now at first glance. And then we do want to play the Grunt's Gift because it's a powerful late game card. It may not even. Yeah, this major blood orb only has a single threshold requirement. If I had a double, I probably wouldn't play Grunts, but you want to play this because you get stuff out of your graveyard and you're nerfing your opponent's stuff and giving it -2/-2, making zombies. Good times. So it really is quite a good card. I mean, and our resource, our this card and Shard Ward or Shard Call aren't dead cards. We have heavy early threshold requirements in Skewer and Spirit Eagle, and then we want to hit our Sandstone. So there's gonna be times that we just don't draw our second, and these cards are gonna help us anyway. If I had like more, my 20 through 23 slots, if I had more like stuff I really wanted to get in the deck, then maybe I would consider not running Grunts. It's just not worth it. But it doesn't look like I'm taking that big of a sacrifice overall. And there's going to be games. There's going to be games where it does win me the game. Like I'm just not going to curve out, or I'm not going to run out of gas or something. I'm going to need something else to do. So that's cool. Let's see. It's my 23rd card. Let's look at our curve. I doubt we need to play 18. And we're already kind of like at 18 resources, 18, 19 sources. Does that mean we can play at 16? No, I don't think so. Not with all these 5 drops. We have what? Four, 5 drops. So what's our 23rd card? Maybe it's big removal. If we're playing Bryson, it'd be Deadeye Ripper. Alright, so what are we playing here? Ovo would be nice to revert the Deadeyes and just give everything. Yeah, revert the Deadeyes and the Flame Hands. That'd be pretty nice. Um, like I said, Ovo is really just effectively just a +1/+1 conditionally because we have so many sources of Swift Strike already. I think I'm gonna go Ovo here, just mainly to capitalize on our 6 shift powers. Okay. Can't really think of another reason why. I guess Benvolio would be decent too. Just gain that extra card. Um, Bryson. I'm gonna go Ovo. I've had quite success. We don't have like really swift shift synergies per se, but we just have a lot of things that say shift on it that have really game changing effects like Swift Strike and Fire Breathing. So it's really good. Let's look at what is our 23rd card. If I had Death Mask, I'd play Swordplay. I don't know. Let's look at some of our. So this is an aggressive strategy, aggressive bordering on mid range. Basically, what we're trying to do is win as fast as possible. Aggro decks tend to get your opponent down really low and then run out of ways to do damage. So you need things that are called reach, ways to win the game. That will break like board stalls or something. Like for instance, like I'm attacking with a bunch of my efficient troops, and then my opponent plays like a 3/6, and then it's like, what do I do now? Like you can just block forever. So then you want cards like this that come into play and do some damage to your opponent to kind of help close out the game. Staggering Blast would be good too because then it makes all the ground troops unblockable. Yada yada. Maybe just play another Ember Leaf. Yep, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna be the more 5 drops you play, the less aggro your deck really is. But I got some solid plays early. Invoker and the shift on the duelist is making something bigger. Yada 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 yada. 2 sources for our Gromskiff, which is fine because we're gonna play it late anyway. You normally want 3 if you're gonna splash a 3rd shard. 3 sources for that shard, but probably not the only aggro deck in the draft. But yeah, what makes a deck aggro is that you basically want to win before your opponent can play all their cards. Like you get to play all your cards plus before your opponent, can get through his. So you win basically the damage race by being more having a faster deck than your opponent. All right, I think I'm into this. So now I'm looking at my. I'm looking at what I'm trying to do when and what I'm going to need, basically. So I'm seeing that I have more Ruby cards early, and thus and double Ruby threshold early, and early is defined by first 3 turns. I'm wondering what shard I want to have 9 of. That's probably going to be Ruby, and then which shard I'm gonna have 8 of. It's gonna be the well, second, most demanding shard, which is then to make it diamond. So I also have 2 additional sources of resource fixing, which can be fixing meaning it can help me if I miss, it can help smooth out my resources. Like this, for instance, would give me a threshold of my choice, and then a resource point later. This will let me just straight up get a resource of my choice. So that's great. So even in the games that I don't get grants ever, these 2 cards are going to help. They're effectively 2 more shards. Now, because that is also a little justification for our 23rd card being another 5-drop. Like we're going to get flooded a bit. As far as like overall strategies, like we want to basically just attack every turn. So giving our threat Swift Strike, being able to make our threats that can't be blocked early super huge, and do a bunch of damage. It's great. Spirit Eagle, exhaust blockers on the ground. This kills a lot of early game blockers and a lot of threats. Sandstone Rumbler, like I said, talked about that, gives us reach. And then this card will push through a few points of damage. Like even if it trades, it ends up pushing through a few damage. And that few damage is typically the difference between a win or a loss. Skewer also gives us reach if we're killing 1-drops. Yeah, I really like this deck. That's basically it. Very popular archetype. Its name is basically Diamond Ruby Aggro, and it just tries to win fast and just try to think that at some point your opponent is going to cast bigger things than you, and you're not going to be able to attack. So how are you winning the game at that point? So Staggering Blast, which we didn't see, is good. Spirit Eagles are good. Skewers are good. These kind of cards are good. So hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, post them in comment. If you like, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and hopefully the next video will be set 4. All right. Thanks a lot.